Throughout history, countless women have bravely stood up against the tides of inequality, changing the course of history. Their stories are tales of resilience, determination, and unwavering belief in a better future. They fought for their voices to be heard, for their rights to be recognized, and for a world where equality wouldn't just be a dream, but a reality. In today's video, we're uncovering the stories of the top 10 most influential women in the fight for gender equality, women who not only made history, but whose legacies continue to inspire millions. From the courtrooms to the streets, from classrooms to communities, these women have left an indelible mark on the world. Get ready to dive into some lesser-known facts that might surprise you. We'll uncover the personal journeys, the challenges they overcame, and the triumphs they achieved in their pursuit of a more just and equitable world. Angela Davis, a name synonymous with revolution and the fight for social justice. She shows us how deeply intertwined the fight for gender equality is with the fight against the prison industrial complex. Angela recognized the systemic injustices that disproportionately target marginalized communities, particularly women of color. She saw how the prison system often criminalizes poverty, mental illness, and addiction, trapping individuals in a cycle of punishment rather than offering rehabilitation and support. Imagine being a young black woman in the 1960s, facing down the FBI, being labeled a dangerous radical simply for demanding justice. Angela Davis didn't back down. She stood firm in her convictions, enduring imprisonment and using her platform to amplify the voices of the silenced and the marginalized. Her courage, her brilliance, they forced the world to listen. Angela's intersectional approach to feminism, recognizing how race, gender, and class intersect and create unique forms of oppression, has been a guiding light for generations of activists. Her legacy is a testament to the power of speaking truth to power, even when it's dangerous, even when it's unpopular. Imagine a fish market, a wellspring of a movement that would change a nation. Laima Gbowie's journey began with a small group of women, united in prayer for peace. Picture thousands of women, dressed in white, a sea of peace in a war-torn country. Laima Gbowie led them with sit-ins and sex strikes, confronting warlords and politicians. Their movement became a beacon of hope for women worldwide. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, synonymous with justice and equality, reshaped the legal landscape for women in America. Imagine a young Ruth at Harvard Law School, excelling despite pervasive sexism. RBG didn't let prejudice deter her. She co-authored the first law school casebook on sex discrimination. As a lawyer, she chipped away at discriminatory laws. Her legacy is etched in American law. Malala Yousafzai. A bullet couldn't silence her voice. Imagine being a young girl, barely a teenager, your life forever altered by a single act of violence. Malala Yousafzai's story is one of unimaginable courage, resilience, and an unwavering belief in the power of education. Growing up in Swat Valley, Pakistan, where girls were often denied access to education, Malala refused to be silenced. She understood that education wasn't just a right, but a weapon against ignorance and oppression. So she spoke out bravely, eloquently, advocating for the right of all girls to learn. And then the unthinkable happened. Targeted for her activism, Malala was shot in the head by the Taliban. It was a moment that shook the world, a stark reminder of the dangers faced by those who dare to challenge extremism. But Malala's spirit, much like her message, could not be silenced. She underwent extensive rehabilitation, her body healing, her resolve strengthening. Malala Yousafzai's journey is a powerful reminder that even in the face of unimaginable adversity, hope can bloom. Wangari Maathai, the Green Heart of Kenya. Wangari Maathai's story is a testament to the profound connection between our environment and gender equality. She saw the plight of her beloved Kenya, its land ravaged by deforestation, its women burdened by poverty and lack of opportunity. But Wangari didn't just see problems, she saw solutions rooted in the power of nature and the resilience of women. She recognized that environmental degradation disproportionately affected women who relied heavily on the land for sustenance and livelihood. So, she did something extraordinary. Armed with nothing but a handful of seedlings, she started a movement. She taught women how to plant trees, how to nurture them, how to restore their land, and in doing so, restore their lives. Wangari Maathai's legacy is a powerful reminder that change often starts small, with a single seed, a single act of courage, a single voice that dares to challenge the status quo. Betty Friedan, the feminine mystique that ignited a revolution. Before she became a feminist icon, Betty Friedan was a journalist, a keen observer of the human condition, particularly the lives of working women. Her journey to becoming one of the most influential figures in the feminist movement began not in a classroom or a protest march, but in the homes of American housewives. Imagine this. It's the 1950s, a time when women were told their place was in the home, their purpose defined by domesticity. Betty Friedan saw through this facade. She saw the discontent simmering beneath the surface of seemingly perfect lives, the unfulfilled potential, the stifled dreams. And so she wrote a book that would change the course of history, The Feminine Mystique. In its pages, she gave voice to the unspoken frustrations of millions of women, exposing the myth of the happy housewife and igniting a fire that would burn through generations. Betty Friedan's legacy is not without its complexities, but her impact on the feminist movement is undeniable. Simone de Beauvoir, the existentialist feminist who redefined womanhood. Simone de Beauvoir, a philosopher, a writer, an intellectual giant who dared to challenge the essence of womanhood. Her masterpiece, The Second Sex, published in 1949, remains a cornerstone of feminist thought. Imagine this, a woman, brilliant and bold, navigating the intellectual circles of post-war Paris. Simone de Beauvoir refused to be defined by others' expectations. She argued that one is not born a woman, but becomes one through societal conditioning. Her ideas resonated with women, sparking conversations and inspiring a generation. Picture this. Cairo, 1923. A train station bustling with activity becomes the stage for a radical act of defiance. Huda Sha'arawi, a pioneer of the Egyptian feminist movement, steps off a train and with a simple gesture ignites a revolution. She removes her veil. This act, seemingly small, reverberated throughout Egypt and the Arab world. It was a symbolic unveiling, not just of her face, but of the deeply ingrained societal norms that had long confined women to the shadows. Huda Sha'arawi understood the power of symbolism. She knew that true liberation required not just legal reforms, but a shift in consciousness, a dismantling of the patriarchal structures that had long dictated women's lives. Huda Sha'arawi's act of unveiling was a powerful symbol of liberation, a beacon of hope for women across the Arab world and beyond. Imagine a woman, born into slavery, who would rise to become one of the most powerful voices for abolition and women's rights. Sojourner Truth's story is a testament to the indomitable spirit that can overcome even the most brutal of injustices. She escaped to freedom, changed her name, and dedicated her life to fighting for justice. Sojourner Truth was a gifted orator, her words imbued with the raw power of lived experience. She demanded equal rights for women and challenged the hypocrisy of a nation. Her most famous speech, delivered at the 1851 Women's Rights Convention, remains a masterpiece of oratory. "Ain't I a woman?" she thundered, challenging the prevailing notions of womanhood. Sojourner Truth's legacy is one of unwavering courage and a profound belief in the inherent dignity of all human beings. Imagine London in the early 20th century, a society on the cusp of change, where women were demanding their rightful place at the table of democracy. Emmeline Pankhurst, a charismatic and controversial figure, emerges as the leader of the suffragette movement, determined to secure the vote for women by any means necessary. Emmeline Pankhurst was not afraid of confrontation. She understood that the fight for women's suffrage would not be won through polite requests or quiet persuasion. She believed in direct action, in making noise, in disrupting the status quo to force society to confront the injustice of denying women the right to vote. She founded the Women's Social and Political Union, an organization known for its militant tactics. They smashed windows, chained themselves to railings, and even resorted to hunger strikes when imprisoned for their activism. Emmeline Pankhurst was a master strategist, understanding the power of media attention. She knew that their acts of civil disobedience, however controversial, would make headlines, forcing the public to confront the issue of women's suffrage. Emmeline Pankhurst's legacy is complex and multifaceted. These women, these phenomenal women, have not only been fighters for gender equality, but also trailblazers who've redefined what it means to stand up for justice. They've shown us that courage can take many forms, from a raised fist to a whispered word, from a courtroom battle to a hunger strike, from planting a tree to removing a veil. Their courage, their intellect, their tenacity, they remind us that the fight for equality is far from over. There are still battles to be fought, voices to be amplified, injustices to be challenged. But these women, their stories, their legacies, they serve as a beacon, reminding us that change is possible, that progress is achievable, that a more just and equitable world is within our reach. Which story resonated with you the most? Which woman's journey inspired you?